Well, here we go. Here we go. Click. My session with Phil last night, something big clicked. That part that I mentioned in just this last Strange Happening video, I can't really talk about. I cut the video clip because I started talking about it. I couldn't talk about it until today. It's now in my head that it's okay to say this stuff now, and it's all linked. I guess I needed it to link in my head before I could speak about it and explain a little more. And what Phil went through, we went through last night with this Cathar healing using the chakra points with energy from the earth to, it's like a healing thing internally, externally, all kind of different healing techniques. And we went through the full thing. Don't have a headache anymore. My headaches are gone now, which, yeah, I had them all last week. But when that happened, I mean, there's a chart here I printed off from Scribed, that online service that I printed off for this document for Cathar healing. And looking through that chart, I was just like, everything just clicked. I was like, oh my God. It's that whole backward learning thing I say. It's like I'm doing things and then getting confirmation later. And I just got a lot of confirmation. And it's like, I can speak about this now. I've been way too nervous to talk about it, but there it is in black and white. So I can talk about it now, about the thing that, the final reveal kind of thing. So it's still going to be difficult, but it's okay now. So final reveal. Throughout my videos, I talk about when I fight. Used to fight these things as a kid. I had this walk-in experience. I used to fight these things. Some of them were lost souls. I would grab them and hold them. Well, it wasn't just my astral self in hands doing this. When that walk-in happened with me, what it felt like was wings. I had wings on my back. I could feel them, astral wings. I could feel them just like those ghost limbs and ghost hands. I could feel them. And when I talk about in these videos that I got destroyed and crushed and something was destroyed permanently, or parts of me were destroyed permanently, the wings is what I was talking about. They were destroyed permanently. Now I've got some notes here to try to keep myself together. In Armor Activated, Strange Happening 73 at the 3-minute and 30-second mark, I mentioned, if you go back and look at that, Strange Happening 73, I will put all those links below. It'll be a lot of links probably. 3-minute and 30-second. Talked about how I was being selfish. I asked Source to be made whole again. And I use the word, they're back. I say they're back. And this is what I'm talking about. The wings are back. I can feel them now. They are back. And the reason I'm able to speak to this point now and release it, because we went through this is a printout from the online Cathar manual from Scribe. The reason all this clicked with me is because of one video I had put out last year in November. I talked about the dark entity fight details. That last fight I had, it was a pretty good one, of the dark entity fight, and that I was stabbed under the left arm here, left a piece in here. Apparently this is chakra number 7. And when I'm talking about I was grabbing it and holding it, it slipped away. I was grabbing it and holding it with apparently chakra 7. They call it wings. And that is what I was holding it with. That is what I hold things with. Besides these hands, I use these wings to block lost souls from escaping and things like that. I use them for this. I use these during my early stages of fighting these entities without souls as darkness. And for that dark entity fight details, this is what I'm talking about. And I'm going to put a link below with several things broken out in specific images. I know some people are going to freak out, unsubscribe, don't ever want to hear this again because I've gone too far off the deep end. That's pretty much why I didn't mention it before and why I had such an issue. Last video I talked about Phil said entities like me shouldn't be here because they get crushed. And I don't know how I didn't get crushed. He said because when these type of entities with wings come here, they can't stay here because they get crushed. It's too dense here. They can come here temporarily, but they have to go back. But they can't stay, and I stayed. And I got crushed, but I survived. Maybe I survived, just thinking maybe I survived because I'm a starseed. I'm originally a starseed, not just from here from this earth, but I have a starseed soul and chose this point. Maybe it was just enough to keep me from getting crushed. Me, my higher self coming in to merge and keep from getting crushed. I don't know. I don't know. That's my catchphrase. I don't know. I'm just guessing. And this doesn't make me better than anybody else or me believe that I'm better than anybody else. And I mentioned in several videos, everybody's just me. I'm just like everybody else. I'm just like everybody else. Really. Just like you. I am. But when he went over this healing and these chakra points, everything clicked. And I'm going to explain why right now. Because in that, even Strange Happening 48, found out who I am. If you haven't seen that, it was telling me who I am and that I have to trust and believe, and just wouldn't. It's hard. It's really hard. But Strange Happening number 85 is called Dark Entity Fight Details. I'll put a link below, and I'm going to break it out by minutes talking about this, because Phil went into all of this with the healings. Again, this is last year. Talking about heart to the earth, when I could feel the energy of the earth down deep in the core, and I'm reaching for it, and we're exchanging things between us, me and the center of the earth. And that's part of all of this Cathar healing stuff, is using the earth's energy from the core up and through. And it's like, I talked about this way before Phil's mentorship, before any of this other kind of stuff recently. This was way back. And it's like, well, there it is. Just there it is. And also another point was, he hasn't really covered this yet, hasn't gone into it, but I've heard some things. They're talking about crystalline type energies and things, and I started thinking back to Strange Happening 66. It's called Emerald Green Scale Armor. I got armor for some reason. I felt it coming over me. That's the only thing I could describe it as, is scales, but it wasn't round scales like on a fish. It was points. It had points on this emerald green, has points on this emerald green armor around me. It's points. And when they start talking about crystals, I'm like, because I mentioned that it's sparkling, that's what it is. It's more like pointed crystals, emerald green, on this armor. And I just didn't know how to describe it. I'm calling it scales, but it's not round scales, it was points. And I guess it's crystal stuff. I don't know. My catchphrase, I don't know. See, I'm sure I've lost everyone at this point, completely lost everyone. That's fine too. But here it is. Just there it is. Okay, now back to the details. The reason it all clicked with this Cathar healing and everything, so I'm going to break it down. That Strange Happening 85. At the 1 minute 30-second mark to 3 minutes, I'll break it out below. I talk about how I look for things, how I feel things, how I visualize things in my head. Phil last night called it scanning, and almost like there's something we can do later. In the future, if you're really good, you might learn how to do this, or finally get to a stage where you can do this. I'm like, oh shit. This is what I do. This is what I've been doing. And it's not just for scanning internal chakra stuff. I'm scanning the external environment when I do this also. The external environment around me for these dark entities and lost souls and everything. He calls it scanning. Wow. So when he said that, I'm like, whoa. And everything started clicking. I'm like, I understand. I completely understand when you're talking about scanning the chakras for imperfections, things that need to be healed and fixed, and light go toward it, and things like, wow, everything just started hitting me. And there it was. Strange Happening 85, 1 minute 30 seconds to the 3 minute mark. I'm talking about scanning. And then he talked about with the chakras, you can feel, chakras that are in alignment are light and bright and clear and clean. Other ones that are out of alignment kind of thing are dark, and you need to pull energy from the earth to lighten them up kind of thing and lighten it up. It's like, that is the way I visualize things. In that dark entity fight, when I reached out with one of these greens, grabbed wings and grabbed it on the left side here, and I talked about that in Strange Happening 85. If you want to watch that whole thing, you'll get it. But it left a shard in, and I'm talk about the description, what it looked like. And again, this is last year. This is before I really knew about Phil, okay? This is before any of this healing or mentorship or anything. And I talked about it was like a stalactite. It came down to a point like this. Well, apparently that's the thing with the chakras. That's kind of it's like a vortex almost, and they form cones like this. Different parts of it form cones. And that's what it was. It was like a point, like I called it a stalactite, because I didn't know. I don't know anything about chakras and what they look like, and I'm learning now. But back then, I had no idea, so I'm just trying to describe what it looked like coming in. And it hit me like a cone. I called it a stalactite. Black, hit me, stuck. It was in there, and it weakened weakened the wing that I was grabbing that dark entity with enough to where it slipped through. I could not hold it. It weakened me. And I'm like, wow, just wow. Okay, so then the Cathar healing. He talked about scanning. He talked about there's these cone shapes for the vortices in the chakras. I'm like, okay, I get that. I see that. How you can scan and look for the light and the darkness in there. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And with me, it's not just internal body, it's external. And I've talked about that in my videos. And this is how I scan for lost souls and dark entities and everything else around me. 7 minute mark to 9 minute mark. I'm talking about in a Strange Happening 85, 7 to 9 minute mark, how I use light and energy, and you visualize roots growing into it to try to melt away the darkness, and I can feel the pain go away when I'm doing that. It started coming back until I could really get a better grip on it, but using energies to do this, and went over that last night, using energies to melt away this darkness in these chakras and things like that, and went through that. And I'm like, I don't know that he watches these videos. Yesterday I actually put out that I may try to talk to Phil and ask him if he watches these videos. He asked me a question. Is there any other questions you want to ask? And man, I stumbled. I couldn't do it. I couldn't ask him. I didn't ask him if he watches these videos or not. But so I don't know if he understands just how much I'm getting it. I know other people may struggle or it comes naturally to him, but I just don't know that he understands how much I understand what he's saying, because I get it. This is my life. This is the way it works for me with all of this. So I talked about using light energy to heal and do that. And then at the 9 to 10 minute mark, 9 minute to 10 minute, I'm talking about this DNA chain, black and white, that came around me. And that's how I visualize this chakra system. And I talk about that in Strange Happening 85. So, whoa. I know people are going to freak out, drop, run away. People usually do. People usually run away just finding anything out about me, and that's why I had to keep it all hidden and secret. I couldn't tell anybody because all this stuff freaks people out way too much. Way too much. And this is the last piece. I can't believe I'm allowed to say it. But there it is. And it's not just some delusion that I've come up with recently. This is 40 years ago. So this has gone on since that walk-in experience. I was a starseed coming in, had that walk-in experience, and when that happened, it wasn't just ghost limbs. The wings were there, and I got crushed in that one fight, just crushed by reality kind of thing. Existence, crushed. And I lived, and that stayed like that until what, I was 56, 57, not long ago. And that, what was that? That video I put out, Armor Activated, Strange Happening 73, whenever that one was, I asked Source, I'd like to be made whole again, and it happened. So they're back, and I haven't been able to talk about it at all. That is the one piece that's been out there, so this is the final reveal. It's the last piece that was missing, and I'm still learning. I'm still human right now. This body is totally human, completely human. I'm just like you. I am just like you, all the way. Going through dark things, learning how to deal with it. I am just like you. So we're all the same. Okay, whether you know it or not, you're the same as me. We're all the same. So that was the other thing too, because part of this ascension stuff is what they call multi-dimensional identity integration. Ascension, multi-dimensional identity integration, is if you have past lives, simultaneous lives in parallel universes all going on. You've got all these different lives, these experiences you go through, trying to integrate it all into one. And that's all part of this. But with me, it's not just this one little past life or 15 past lives or anything else. I don't remember them. I don't remember any past lives. I don't remember parallel universes. I just remember the starseed self and then this other higher self coming down into me. I know those two. But when I see other people, it's just me. We're the same. So when he's talking about trying to heal parts of yourself, all these experiences you've had through other lives, it feels like my other lives are everyone, everywhere, everything throughout time. It's everyone, everywhere, everything. And it's healing all of that. So how do you do that? I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm rambling with my tea, I suppose. I don't know how to do that. I'm trying to learn and understand. And I think all of this is hitting recently because of these techniques. One technique is manifestation, learning how to get better control on manifesting things. Now, things manifest for me all the time, just naturally. This is more of a controlled manifestation. And, if you're wanting me to do a manifestation, I think of a physical object as what he wanted, but that's not my thing. Physical objects and things really don't matter to me. Money doesn't matter to me, really. It just doesn't. The thing that's important, I've always put out here, is knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. So first thing I try to manifest was an understanding that leads to wisdom. Second thing I try to manifest consciously, directly, is an understanding that leads to wisdom. Third thing, I only did 3 so far. Third thing, try to manifest consciously, was remembering. I want to remember, and that's when all this started hitting. Remembering. It's good. It's very good. It's a good thing. It really is a good thing. I understand if y'all think I'm batshit crazy. I sure did. All my life. All 40 years. Thought I was batshit crazy. Now there's other people like me. I hope you can understand why I thought so dark and alone in a crazy world. Young, trying to explain some of this to a preacher, and he told me I'm the thing that's wrong with the world. And you look at religion and some of this stuff that I've put out here, am I good, am I evil kind of thing, if I have these wings? Was I seen here as a punishment or just to learn or help, like I put in that last video? That's what I'm trying to talk about in my last video. I'm trying to talk about it. And I feel like I'm locked down in chains in the dark, and then the chains let go, and God, I'm not Lucifer. Not that I know of. Maybe I am. I don't know. I'm not evil. I know I'm not evil. But it led to that, some thoughts like that, because here I am, a preacher telling me I'm the thing that's wrong with the world, and I have these wings, and I'm chained down in the dark, alone, and see things the way I do, these dark entities and everything else. And through all of that, I'm trying to help as much as I can. So I don't feel like I'm evil, but that would go through my mind sometimes because of this and all of that. And then, I don't know.